Oh, Sid has a new avatar. I didn't notice.
Yeah, my MCN decided I was worth investing.
Hello, all you folks out there in YouTube land. Lord Crocker Squirrel, along with the Sid of Alpha.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, I had my microphone muted there. I didn't want to cause any background noise for you.
All right. The lovely Kitty.
Hello, everybody.
We have Mello online today.
Hi there, everyone. Glad to be here.
All right, and last and potentially least, we have Sanji Himura.
Hello, one and all.
All right, you guys know why you're here, but for those people who watch later, I'll let you all in on it. This is our second shot at review the developer for Berdyev, and this is Berdyev's baffling banal bullshit. Because of course we already know he's full of shit. He always seems to be, regardless of what the hell's going on. This coincides, of course, with the release of Dead Inside, which some of you may have seen on channel yesterday. And I'll tell you, after I finished playing the game, I was most certainly dead inside. I have lost all faith in humanity at this point. So, let's get down to business, shall we? I have some footage that I took of Dead Inside, but I think I can go around the table here real quick and get everybody else's opinion of this particular individual before we get started in meat and potatoes.
Man cannot live by meat and potatoes alone.
Well, no, but somebody seems to think he can live off the backs of Steam users. All right. How about you, Sid? How about you start off?
Well, it's been an interesting time. I did an Asset Flippers video on him not too long ago. It was a bit antagonistic, to say the least, but when you see a person who's managed to get that many games onto Steam, it's a bit surprising that it hasn't gotten a wider audience or a wider platform to be able to warn people against things like this. As it looked like he was involved with multiple developers he's running. I actually had a Steam moderator run some checks for me, and they weren't able to confirm one of the developers, but they did confirm that coming from the same IP address, we did have Berdyev, Dissident Interactive, BC Workstation, and Andrew 97 UK.
Okay. And we already
So
know
we do
he's
have
BC
proof
Interactive.
here. Yeah, we do have proof here that he is clearly making use of multiple accounts. Dissident Interactive is tied to his IP address, and as is his own personal login. So, which is I state this because he actually produced a response video to my video, where it was him logging into his Berdyev account and showing, hey, look, I can't manage any of these things from my login.
Well, obviously not, because you're using different logins. Kiernath, the answer to that question is absolutely fucking yes. I'm going to suggest that all the rest of the people that are listening to the broadcast at this point, that they do the same. Because the only way we're going to get the banal bullshit out of pushed down is by using that system to best effect. And that's
I'm
where
sorry. Actually, suppose I should load up the YouTube channel so I can see the chat here. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen.
Actually, don't do that. Sit here. Hold on.
Link into the group chat anyway.
There we go. Thank you.
Here, why don't you use this link instead? That'll work better.
Oh yeah, that works as well.
That'll keep your bandwidth costs low.
Okay, so yeah, and as I was saying, he, my personal dealings with him went a little bit further escalated. He banned me from his chat, because of course, and so I actually reached out to the same Steam moderators, and they unbanned me and issued him a warning.
That's actually hilarious.
And then we ended up having about 4.5 hours because he ended up getting a moderator to kind of back him up a little bit. So we ended up going through about 4.5 hours of dueling moderators.
Before they finally started,
one moderator would issue a warning and another moderator would remove that warning.
Oh dear. You'd wonder.
So it was kind of hilarious. We were doing an on-Steam proxy war.
Well, see, here's the thing. You would think that they would have a back channel. They could talk about that shit.
Oh, they were. This particular Steam moderator is apparently a special kind of asshole.
Ah, okay.
And I apologize by saying that. I probably just got your video demonetized.
Yeah, it's okay. These things, they do happen. All right. Let me... Okay. So, in addition to some of the other things that are going on here, please be aware that I am actually going to be assembling a curatorship here pretty quick. I do have one other, but it's not going... Alright, here. Tell you what, guys, I'm going to throw this link here into the chat. You guys can go have a look at the group. There is a curator associated to it. And by the way, Diana already beat you to it. Ha! You guys can all go and join that. Follow the curator, because we're definitely going to be using that coming on. All right. And Mello has had some adventures with the Berdyev, but apparently it's supposed to be pronounced Berdyev, and I don't understand how that works. But okay, whatever.
Me neither. It's just the way that he pronounced it in his Dead Inside video.
Yeah.
But I've been dealing with
pronounced Lord Crocker Squirrel Sid Alpha at some point. So
yeah,
Sid Alpha is Lord Crocker Squirrel, something like that.
Yeah. I started dealing with Berdyev when he first posted Space Journey onto Steam Greenlight. It was actually during a Greenlight gathering as well, when me and Croc were taking a look at it, and we actually thought pretty highly of Space Journey up until it was revealed to us that it was an asset flip of the Alien Sky asset on the Unity store. And then after a short while, after I saw how he was treating commenters and how he was treating people in discussions, I did a Guardlight post on him, and then he basically... Me and him ended up getting in repeated arguments afterwards until then, some of which I do admit I have said petty things to him even publicly, but it's one of the few times that I think that they are actually deserved. I'm not even trying to cut my own arse up. I actually do genuinely think that. But I've also been talking with Berdyev in PMs recently, for the past few days, and what Sid Alpha said before about Dissident Interactive being from the same IP address is actually pretty damned interesting, because it means that if that's true, then that means he has been lying to me during the PMs that I've been having, saying that Dissident Interactive's something that he's just publishing himself and uploaded to Greenlight and is trying to help other creators. But if that IP thing is actually true, then I'm wondering what other lies he's been spouting to me.
Well, I'm going to send you a link to that snip that I was provided. We can't show it on the air because it would be doxing.
Right. But yeah, do please give me a link to that, because that's information we can use at a later time.
Yeah, so you would have to cleanse the IP address from that picture if you want to be able to post it online.
Actually, tell you What I can do is I can take a snapshot and then just blow out the IP and then upload it as a separate screenshot if that's
which
allowed.
I would probably do. Which I will
That'll
probably.
work.
I can do that in 5 minutes. So
I can do
Make
that in
sure
I can do that
the
in 5
link.
seconds.
Make sure that the link is not visible. The reason being is because this was from a Steam moderator who was posting this directly for me, and this was a private posting. And if they were found out to be providing me with back end information like that, they could lose their job.
well,
Okay.
actually, none of that information.
Which is why you've publicly stated that.
None of these things are. There's nothing here to identify the individuals in question. So, give me a minute.
Except that is a static IP address.
Okay, sidebar.
So-
Mello, can you lock the Guardians of the Green Light chat
Why?
because of that link?
Oh crap! Yeah, that's a good point.
Give me a second. I'm just going to do a quick hack job on this. Yes, he is actually elusive. He is actually at least mostly responsible for elusive team amongst other things. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and do a thing here.
Okay.
So, and Mello, this is the same moderator that I was discussing with you earlier that absolutely wants to remain anonymous.
Okay.
And so that's why I couldn't pass off any contact information.
I've got you. And also in the group chat, I've also posted a censored version of the post where the IP's been cut out.
All right. I'm actually very nearly done here, so we'll get to show everybody what this actually looks like in just a moment.
And chat's asking if he's elusive team. This does not post any definitive evidence that he is still elusive team. However, he is still selling an elusive team game under his BC Interactive bundle.
Well,
Yeah,
he claims
one
to have no
thing-
further connection with elusive team, but
Yeah, how can you have no further
during-
connection and still be able to sell one of their titles?
Yeah. With the PMs that I was having with Berdyev a couple of days ago, he was saying that the reason behind that was because when Escape the Island first launched on Steam, BC Interactive was publishing the game and Elusive Team was developing it. But he stated to me that he had no business connections left with Elusive Team because apparently him and the head of the, well, I'm saying this in his words, him and the head of the studio had some sort of falling out, so he cut him out of the publishing and then just had it self-published by Elusive Team. But Berdyev left it in the bundle just because he was still profiting off of it. So I'm not sure how we can say that he has no business connections with the Elusive Team, yet he's still profiting off of one of their projects.
all
Yeah,
right.
the two are mutually exclusive. You can't have zero connections and still be able to sell a product that is posted as developed and published by another company.
Right.
Mhm.
So here we go. Here is your image. The search terms have been blanked out. But other than that, everything else is intact. Berdyev, Dissident Interactive, BC Workstation, and Andrew 97 UK. So, you see those? Those all come from that
Interesting
same
that
static
Andrew
IP
90
address.
Interesting that Andrew 97 UK has one comment, as if he used them as a one-off.
He may have. I don't know. Matt Geek, I don't think Sid's actually going to be able to answer that question for you. Because that would actually lead back to. Oh, okay. He did answer the question.
Them losing their job.
No, I was actually answering another question. I just saw that. I can't really disclose names because that would be an invitation to harassment, and I really don't want to do that. A lot of these Steam moderators, after I've started talking with more Steam mods on the back end and the crap they have to deal with,
Oh, yeah.
a lot of people, including myself, have dumped on them a huge amount in the past for what is very much them having to do their jobs not with the aid of, but very much in spite of the higher ups at Valve.
Oh dear. Which is actually not a good thing.
Violent
Yeah.
Death, in response to your question, I'm not going to say publicly of the connection to that, but I have evidence suggesting to that, but it's nothing definitive. So I'm not going to throw out those sorts of allegations if I still have a doubt that they're false.
Yeah, the kind of cash that they make that some of these asset flippers make on cheap shit games is absolutely staggering. And that's part of the reason we tell you guys not to vote for these things, and certainly not to buy them. That's why we wind up having to get them, so that we can show you how bad these games are, so that nobody else spends any of their money. It's like,
We played
don't
a
do
bad
that.
game.
Still actually
You know,
providing them with income just to showcase their crap hurts my soul a little bit.
Don't feel bad. It doesn't help me. It's not helping. It's not helping my sanity either. But I will tell you now that better us give them $5 than a whole shitload of people give them $5 and they roll in cash while producing something shit. They're being rewarded
We play
for
bad
being
games.
horrible people. We play bad games so you don't have to. Or excuse me, we play
Yep.
bad games so you wouldn't want to. Be not desirous of playing the bad games, even if you think you can make a quick buck on it, because it's just wrong. Don't do that. Okay. If we can show you a game and show you that it's horrible, and at least 2 people have done so, then you might want to avoid that.
Violent Death, in response to your question, most of these asset games would die if they weren't promoted right. I'd probably be in disagreement with that, because you can probably sell anything if you promote it right.
Mm-hmm.
Because if take Greenlight as a standard, for example, it requires 1 trailer and 4 screenshots. If you choose your screenshots and trailer correctly, then you can always pass it off as something okay.
Also, the promotion or lack of promotion, Total Biscuit was actually able to confirm, and Jim Sterling were able to confirm with Valve when they were at their meeting over in Seattle, that even they're discussing, especially Jim Sterling's discussing larger asset flip titles and everything like that, had no direct influence on an increase or a correlative increase in copies purchased.
Right.
So, however, these games they still don't want publicity. They still don't want promotion. The reason being is because they don't actually make their money from the game sales themselves. They make the money from the trading cards, and companies like Berdyev appear to employ an army of bots to farm those trading cards for sale on the Steam's platform.
So they make their money twice. They get the money off the bots, and then on top of that, they're getting the money that they would normally get just because cards sold.
That would usually depend on the amount of bots used and for what purpose.
Yeah. Well, again, it's not impossible to do under any circumstances. That entire train wreck is a fucking scam. You pay $50 for an asset pack, and then you toss it on Greenlight or into Steam Direct, and then shit goes sideways in a hurry for everybody but you.
And since we're on the topic of
couldn't Steam have that I'm not a robot verification?
I'm pretty sure they do. But when you set up
capture verification, yeah, there are ways around that, though.
Since we're on the topic of bots, I'm also going to post a few links in the chat, which are links to different reviews, different positive reviews left on Space Journey, which is a BC Interactive title. Different reviews posted by different users for a Space Journey, all of which are have Russian names and are just partially set up Steam accounts. All of which are saying the same thing as like plus, maybe 1 Russian letter, plus, that sort of thing. And the one thing that all these different accounts have in common is the 2 groups that they're in. They're all in Grab the Games, which is a known Greenlight Boosting Group and a known Greenlight Steam publisher, who also do promotions for some games on the store, and they're also in a group called Slipk. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, or Slipk, one of the two, which is actually the source of where all these things are coming from.
Well, on the flip side, Grab the Games actually seems to have people behind it. They've actually tossed me a couple of keys, one of which for a game that was almost good. So, 6 of
Yeah,
one, half of the other.
I've actually been slowly compiling information for Grab the Games. They have a couple of developers, some of them with even, surprisingly enough, wildly popular games that are direct asset flips.
Some of them. Others, maybe not so much. I don't know, but they took a significant amount of risk to send me anything. So, who knows? And actually, no, it's the IPs in question use the IP that Berdyev uses is a static IP. He will always have that IP address. Anyway.
Yeah, that is posted by the ISP as a static, which means that it is assigned to his account. So it's not a randomized shift or anything like that. It's not two people living in the same town.
Or even two people living on the same block.
Right.
Give me a second here. So, let me grab the magic thing here.
The magic thing that is Steam.
No, the magic thing is not Steam. Actually, we're going to do that first. So
Seems a magic thing that just lets more shit come on.
All right. Beware the dreaded Lord Crocus Squirrel. Yeah,
Gotta make sure you get that self-promotion in there.
Yeah, no. Okay. This is Dead Inside. And of course, a lot of people here probably know at least something about this game. But I have some more interesting, fun things going on here. Kitty and I actually took a minute to play this game here not too terribly long ago. Actually, we played it on Thursday.
It was more than a minute.
Yeah, we got about 20 minutes worth of footage here.
Joy.
Okay. Not only did he use the standard Sid Alpha red flag of, oh boy, Unity, stock Unity options menu before the game starts.
Yeah, that is always. I still have PTSD over reviewing Digital Homicide's list of titles. So every single time I see that stock Unity options menu, I physically cringe.
Yeah, it is pretty cringeworthy. So
and my liver also tries to jump outside of my body because it knows what's coming.
Well, to be honest with you, I still have Digital Homicide games on my computer.
Yeah, I heard
you
still have them.
You played 45 minutes of Assault on Zarta, so I wouldn't really expect anything lower, Sanji.
All right. So, here was my initial message to Berdyev. A little further down here. This is about the time I was looking at that asset menu. But I've actually killed the audio for this footage. Made with Unity Yeah, he knows how to make enough money.
Just so you guys know, I'm going to mute my mic for a bit because I've actually just gotten in contact with the head of Elusive Team. So I'm going to have a talk with him for a bit.
Okay. All right. Having to turn that all the way up was kind of not good either because, well, it was in 3 earlier attempts to record this game, it had gotten trashed because the gamma was set too low. I had to max it out to make it even this visible. A quick explore of the options menu revealed no audio options. And of course, the nowhere near original loading bar. So you've actually had a look at this game, haven't you, Sid?
I did, yes. I spent way too long on this game. It was about half an hour or so of actual playtime, which felt like weeks, but
I don't know. I looked at the finished video and it said 22 minutes and 3 seconds. I went, damn. Is that all?
well, that was just the end video. The actual recorded playtime of the game footage that I had was almost an hour.
I was
good.
actually pointing out the rigging issues with this guy's shoulders.
Oh, goody. Let's see if I could top that.
You got your sleeping bag and your building plan, blah blah blah. Water bottles. Oh.
And I've actually already been, by viewers, I've been sent links to 2 other games that are using this exact same asset package.
Ooh. We should send
They're
those.
on Steam.
Oh, you should send those along. Because that would be really
I'll have to hunt them down. It was actually posted in the comments section of my video, I believe. At least one of them was. So, and there were hundreds of comments on that video, so it's going to take a bit to go.
Yeah, well, when you get them, let me know. Because I'm pretty sure we could. I'm almost tempted to do a review of the asset. Because the asset maker obviously wasn't intending this to be put out in the general public like this.
No, the asset makers generally don't. These are designed to be informational, instructional, or skeleton packages that people can base off of, put in their own textures and objects instead of what's there. It's made to perform some background core elements.
Okay.
And provide you with a visual interface to be able to see what all these different objects do and everything like that while you're working on your own package.
Imagine my surprise when I actually faced into that car. No collision on it whatsoever.
Yeah, you ghosted through the car.
At this point, I was already losing brain cells. Okay, just to kind of give you an idea.
You're not hitting the tree in the right spot, so you're not actually collecting any wood there.
Yeah, well.
Okay. Excuse me, guys. Mello is asking if LaCroix can come on to explain his experience with Berdyev.
You know what? I would be willing to accept that.
Who is asking?
LaCroix?
This is the head of Elusive Team.
Apparently.
All right, I will do my best to behave.
just for a few. We can pick up just for a few. All right. Let's go ahead and kill this for a second. And that thing too. So.
Oh, LaCroix is a Greenlight publisher who originally posted Dead Inside.
That's even better.
Again, I will do my best to behave.
On the topic that Sid mentioned about the assets, I agree completely. The assets are there to provide you a skeleton to build your game, not to be your game.
Yeah, that distinction, of course, is typically lost on asset flippers because that's not what they care about. What they care about is the income from the trading card systems and things like that. However, there are a lot of video game players and gamers out there that don't know what the distinction is. I've actually had to explain that to a few people, which has been very interesting. People wondering, well, what is an asset flip exactly? What makes it an asset flip? So, I would go into a very long dissertation and bore the hell out of them of the basic
Yeah,
mechanical aspects behind it. But very
because
much, it's
yeah,
very much little to no work or changes involved.
yeah, because one thing is using an asset that you paid for and you build around it, you use it to build something. And the other thing is to use only the asset to present your game. It's a huge difference. And people don't understand, oh, what's in an asset flip? And yeah, you said it right.
Okay,
But
I'm back in.
people don't.
Okay, is he
But people don't
do we have
understand it.
do we have him coming on board?
Not yet, not that I know of. I'm waiting for confirmation.
All right.
I already promised to behave. So,
Okay, congratulations on your part, Sid. I can't
Also,
speak for my own actions, though.
okay. Also to note, in Dead Inside, you do suffer through fall damage from 8
Yeah.
feet.
yes, but you regenerate your health so quickly, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Like,
As long as
I remember-
if it
I
doesn't
remember
kill
my-
you immediately, you get to you get to live.
I remember with my time with Dead Inside, one of my meters ended up draining, I think it was the hunger, and it didn't do anything to my health. Like, my health was regenerating so quickly that the hunger bar was having no effect on it.
If Sixes add some shit, do some really nasty damage along there. That's me scrolling around. That's me scrolling around in the chat because I can. All right, so let's get back to our video thingy, shall we? Here we go. 7.5 minutes down. I've only just figured out how to actually get the wood.
Yeah, this game does have all your standard basic survival crafting elements that you would expect. There's nothing really innovative at all about it, which, is not a surprise because it's just a base Unity asset package. The innovation is supposed to come after.
And that didn't happen.
And you
in
can
this
also
case.
cheat. And you can also cheat in materials too.
Can you?
Yep.
I had not.
If you can pause it right here, I can point it out.
All right.
It's right below your inventory.
Okay.
You hit
Oh,
the
you
drop
said-
down menu.
How
Oh,
much of
yeah.
what stuff and you can just add?
Yep.
That's fantastic.
No, seriously.
That's perfect.
Yeah, that's actually a handy menu to have for a dev to be able to just pop in without actually having to go.
Yeah,
in and
that's
do
actually
anything
that's
faster.
actually a
But
debug menu. You're supposed to remove those before you
Yeah.
publish your freaking game.
I've seen what people can do with Arc.
Yeah.
I know a group of people who play Arc on a private server, and I've seen what they did, where they are with Arc.
See, I didn't like Arc much
And-
either, and
Yeah, and I didn't like Arc when we reviewed. And when I see where they are and what they have done with it, I'm just amazed.
You can do lots of things with Ark if you have the time, the patience, and the desire to do that kind of thing. I generally don't. At the same time, it is one. It and Rust are some of the better examples of this type of game. This is a sad, sorry knockoff, and isn't even all that great to begin with.
No,
It
it's
wasn't
not
even
great.
it wasn't even intended as a knockoff. It was just meant to be the basis of another design.
And this is just the crafty survival parts to some other game that is better. Uh, Alright, here we are later on in the setup. That green bar that's dropping rather rapidly is actually one's fatigue meter. Okay, the stamina bar is one of the worst things to ever come out of games like these, and everybody uses them now, regardless of what the game is. I swear. When did not being
Yeah.
able to play the game equate to being fun? Can somebody answer that for me? Does anyone know? Panel, chat, anybody that wants to say.
Because you die more.
I don't know how that makes it fun.
Yeah,
That's a challenge.
I didn't say that it's fun. It adds to the challenge, and some people like it. I don't know.
See, one thing I don't understand with these survival games like this, where you also have resource maintenance, like your water and food and everything like that, why instead of a fatigue meter, they don't configure the system to consume that water and food faster when you are running or when you're being extremely active, as opposed to just sitting there wandering around.
Well,
I have no
some
idea.
games
I don't
actually
get
do that
why they
and
don't.
add the stamina meter.
Now, there's no point to having the stamina meter, though.
The Forest actually does that. Again,
Yeah, I
that's
really don't play enough of these survival games, apparently, which is probably because I despise them.
Yeah,
probably because
well,
I've wasted tens of hours in them.
tens
They're
of
just
hours.
exceptionally boring. If I wanted to sit around and stare at nothing at all, I could do that without the game.
Okay.
Yeah,
Also,
I
no,
don't like survival games because of micromanagement. I don't like micromanagement.
yeah. Why the hell do we need to babysit our protagonist when we don't even have any reason to give a shit about him?
Now, there's only one game where I like micromanagement, and that's StarCraft.
Yeah, and that's because it is a more fast-paced sort of creature that actually requires that you do things as opposed to just shit being sideways. Oh, by the way, Violent Death, that FPS was actually the in-game FPS. I did not modify this in any way. Okay, now we're going to go into town. I'm going to show you some fun. Because this is a thing that you have to be wary of. If you're ever going to try and play this game, and I do not recommend this on any level, don't buy it, don't touch it. If you have a copy, refund that bitch.
I don't know, I might still gift it to a few people I absolutely loathe, but
Yeah, well, it depends on how many copies you've got handy. I wouldn't buy any more of them.
I'll happily send a copy to Berdyev.
See, there's actually no interior for that building. You can tell. You look through it. There's just the walls.
Berdyev actually is, he had stated on a comment on my video that beans I probably refunded the game already, he would be happy to send me a code.
I don't know that I would trust that.
To which I responded that, in my response to his response of the video that I did, I stated unequivocally that I don't refund games that I review. I think
Yeah,
that's morally dishonest and disingenuous.
observe
And
and
even if I
admire.
were to,
Observe and admire the lack of hitboxing. Also, the almost entire, complete lack of AI in this particular Zombone. Okay. Not only that, we can't actually. Not only that, we can't actually loot the thing because it hasn't got anything on it. I want his fucking shoes at this point. I'm running around naked.
And
He's
then
got
you,
clothes,
you,
and I don't get to have, and I don't get them.
yes, you can't loot,
Can't loot this guy
right? Yeah,
because he
you
has
can't
no
even get
inventory.
his shoes.
some of them do have items, but yeah, the clothing is not in their inventory.
What was weird was that the zombies with no clothes on actually had loot on them.
Yeah, like this guy over here. Now,
Usually
this is
some
fun.
rotten
This
meat.
one's actually wandering around. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing I did the last time. Only it won't. Only worse. Okay, he starts out ignoring me. Then he starts pathing again. And if I'd left right here, I wouldn't have died. Okay, your threat
Yeah.
detection range, despite the fact that you're being chewed to shit by somebody with a stone axe, should include, yeah, just being dead.
Yeah. You were chewed to death.
Of course, in Berdyev's words, updates are coming.
Yeah, well, there was apparently an update yesterday, which was after I posted this video, and not only that, my respawn was in exactly the spot I died. I can't find any of my shit. I have nothing, and this all I have is a full life bar, and this thing just eats the crap out of me again because I can't, because I have no unarmed melee attack at all.
Yeah, let me guess. I'm actually going to go check and verify. I'm guessing that the update is save functionality working.
Save
I
functionality
think
and
that
some
was
collision was added to some objects.
Yeah, that's not his update. That is the update that the Unity's dev published.
Yes, we're well aware. Okay. Please note that they got completely clear of that zombie in no time flat. Okay.
You respawn.
I respawned. It was pointed away from me. I hauled ass the other direction. Yeah, I know. I mentioned that in the video as well. This is the same video that I put up on YouTube yesterday.
Let's see. I have to go back to my.
And there was my closing message for the Berdyev. Poor lamprey. Yeah. Hey, careful with that, Mac Geek. But yeah, that was my closing message. So that's going to be it for that. Now, I think Mello said he was going to. Okay, have fun, Skid Row. I think Mello said he was going to do some live play for us, did he not?
Oh crap, did I?
Yes, you did, because we have the same game now, post update.
Yeah, before I go on to that, I just want to give a quick update on the LaCroix thing. He's PMing me as we speak. He doesn't want to come on because he's on vacation and his English isn't too good because he's Russian.
Yeah.
He's saying it started off the whole because LaCroix originally posted Dead Inside to Greenlight, and he's stating that shortly after it was posted to Greenlight, apparently Godlike members came and attacked people in the comments or something like that, which I don't believe. And he apparently a few days later got a message from Berdyev shortly after the game was greenlit saying, "Fuck off! I can publicate the game myself."
Publicate?
Publicate, that's the actual words Berdyev used.
Ugh.
Publicate? Okay.
Publicate.
It's a word?
Publicate.
That is not a word,
Okay.
actually.
It's publish.
Yes, the word he used.
And LaCroix also
Publish.
added his own personal opinion, saying now his business model will be concluded in the release of stolen assets and the sale of keys to Russian card farmers.
Oh.
So Berdyev might be employing another stuff that might not. I don't have any evidence to back it up. It's just LaCroix stating it. I just want to clarify that it might be false, but because for all I know, LaCroix could be doing so with spite. Who knows? But it's just what LaCroix's been telling me.
Yeah, well, apparently,
Anyway.
he's been paying attention to what we're doing over here. So,
Well, yeah, you'll have to comment on the event. Okay. I'll now play Dead Inside if you can actually see the screen afterwards.
I will be. I have to grab the thing here real quick. All right,
I'm just gonna
right there, and then I'm gonna grab this and.
Sorry about that. That was my expected interruption that we talked about previously.
Okay.
Well, actually, the Hangout is not producing video for me for some silly reason. It usually does.
Is it just for you? Is it just for you?
Apparently, somehow or another, Chrome is not allowing me to do that. Firefox would, but not Chrome. Oh, well, it doesn't look any different now. Difficulty suicide. Alright. Give me a second. I will just do this other thing here. And
are you seeing any sort of output?
I have a way. I think I have a way. I'm trying to remember if there was a way to fix. Let's see if I can fix its little red wagon here. Nope, that's not gonna work. I'm trying to get the correct window here. There we go. Now I got it. Give me a second while I do the thing. There we go. Now, here we go. Options menu hasn't changed anything. Yeah, I'm all good. We're all good here.
Okay. Right. We'll see what changes he's made. Or, well, he's made. Might be the asset creators made the changes. I think he forgot to mention in his updates loading screen has now become slower.
That thing.
I'm sure Winter Bites will address that in a future patch.
Yeah. There we go.
And the any key doesn't
press
work.
Any key still has it. Press any key still doesn't work.
Try your enter key. That seemed to work better than the space bar.
I tried enter key.
Oh well.
That was enter key that I was pressing.
How about clicking on it?
I tried clicking on it as well.
Well, then click on it and then hit the thing.
Hang on, I might be getting a crash.
Yeah, that's the game. That's just the game loading. That's all. Not a huge thing.
So we got two loading bars. One visible and one silent.
Yep. Then the silent one's usually the one that'll get you. That's actually a Unity bug.
I hear sounds. I hear sounds.
We're not going to hear sounds on this end. But that's okay. We don't have to.
I'm only hearing faint crickets anyway. Oh, there we go. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm going to have to turn the graphics down because Hangouts is butchering. Yeah.
And it's butchering the Hangout too.
Well, it's not actually it's not really doing that. It's wow.
Yeah, Hangouts is butchering.
Yeah.
Let me try. Was it on Hangout? Oh, it's still butchered. One sec, I'll try one more thing. Okay, let's just try it on there. Make the game look as ugly as possible.
Don't forget to Well, it's not like it was gonna. Well, you're probably not gonna get super. We're probably not gonna get super great transmission through Hangouts anyway. But see if you can
No,
get
really
in.
not.
See if you can clip that car again.
No, I can't. It's actually got collision on it.
Oh wow.
He's made improvements. Well, he is in the asset creator.
I don't know if the. Berdyev might have actually added the collision to that himself. It's not like it isn't much more than a
Oh, he's added
10
more
bucks.
vehicles.
Or junk, you mean?
Oh, and he's added radiation.
Yeah, his update mentioned a radiation zone. They also mentioned expanding the map, but he couldn't make the map any better. Yep, UI improvements.
Didn't he mention improved optimization?
No.
No.
No mention of improved optimization.
Because I remember getting 40 FPS average when I played this.
And now you're getting like 10 or 12?
I'm getting 20 on my version. It might be butchered an hour in Hangouts, though.
Yeah,
Well-
it's butchered. This is a slideshow. This is a slideshow now.
Well, the slideshow's at least the slideshow makes it somewhat more entertaining.
True.
Just to be perfectly honest, on the average potato that passes through a computer, in the hands of the average user, you're not gonna see. It's gonna look a lot like this, even with the graphics on crap.
And with it partially built. With popping all around.
Yep. So 9 million miles will pop in. There's not a whole lot of. There's a lot going on that isn't actually going on. Wow.
Yeah.
Did you step back and? Oh, you must. Yeah.
I stepped back, it dipped to 10, then went back to 20.
As far as optimization goes, during my particular playthrough, I averaged between 40 and 50 frames a second. How about you, Sid?
Oh, it was actually doing just fine at a steady 60 FPS, but my computer isn't really a fair comparison.
Well, considering that, well, I'm not sure how that actually comes together then, because my computer would be a completely unfair comparison normally, and the optimization on this is shit.
I noticed no performance issues, but I've got a friggin' 1080 Ti and everything else under the sun.
You've certainly got my 1060 beat.
But
Shiba says
by
that
way of comparison, if you're having performance issues on a 1060, then there are problems with your framework.
Yeah.
Did Berdyev
What you were
improve the
saying?
system requirement ratings on the store page?
Because you have to remember, with the 1060, by way of comparison, you can run Witcher 3 on 4K resolution with a 1060 with no problem.
The sad part of it is that I've done that.
So the simple fact that The Witcher 3 on 4K has fewer performance issues than this game.
Yeah. This is a thing that should not be. Is that a bow you were just dropping in there?
Yep, it was just a ball that I was dropping in.
Oh, and you have a bone club and a bow.
With no enemies encountered yet.
Well, and I actually got a steady 50 frames a second when I was trying to muck with it without anybody potentially watching.
I'd be interested if you and Sid tried this now and see if your optimization ended up going down or something compared to the original version.
I would bet that it would.
Oh, God, that means I have to reinstall the game.
I've still got it installed. I don't wanna. Because you got to think about it. Metal's on an 850M over there.
Yeah.
How much RAM you got in that thing?
I think 8 GB.
Okay, I have twice as much RAM and easily much more video card, and I was still getting problems. Yes, trichologist, I'm sure Sid realizes that Witcher was made by actual developers.
He still hasn't fixed the issue of some trees not dropping wood.
I was saying that Jiba said that he's enjoying the PowerPoint presentation.
I've actually seen a few Unity games that have maxed out my GPU and still look like that. I'll turn on the game auto detect here in a minute.
I mean, I was getting a steady 40 FPS.
And now you're doing half that.
Now I'm doing half that. Yeah.
My
Yeah,
potato won't run this game.
It won't run
probably
it at all.
It won't run
people are
it at all.
complaining. People are complaining about motion blur. Probably Mello didn't turn it off.
There's no option to turn it off.
Oh, that's even better.
He's added in motion blur and given God, what the hell has he done?
It requires an R9 270X or a GTX 760 with an i5 4430.
Has he just plastered water in front of the trees?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly what he did.
He ghosted through the trees.
There's no way he can be this lazy.
Oh, that's a second layer of water, like up above. What the hell? And you notice his map is mostly flat anyway. Alright, Mello,
Yeah.
let's stop putting them through this. I'll fire it up myself, and we'll
Right.
see what this all looks like here. Let me go ahead and kill that. Let me go ahead and kill that real quick before. Okay. All
The
right.
game crashed anyway.
It crashed on you. That's even worse.
Mhm.
Okay.
Perfect.
Isn't that great? All right, and this is Berdyev's finest work to date.
Not really. I still think Space Journey's better than this.
It doesn't matter. It shouldn't be. This shouldn't even be a thing at this point.
At least Space Journey had some content.
Yeah, this has absolutely shit. All right, let me go ahead and grab the game here real quick, because according to him, I'm just over the line as far as recommended specs. He recommends an i6700K, 8 gigs of RAM, a GTX 970, and DirectX 12, which would of course require that you have Windows 10. Now I have 16 gigs of RAM and a 1060 card in this thing, and those are his recommended. Let's have a look. Alright. Go ahead and do that.
Let's see. I just finished reinstalling, so let me
I'm sorry for you, Sid.
frame rate monitor up here.
I use Steam's frame rate
You are
monitor. It works pretty
torture.
well.
You guys are torturing me here.
I mean, I got a better frame rate on the menu, but that's it.
Well, I'm getting 60 frames a second on the menu. Somebody did turn the VSync on.
I got more than 60. I got like 200 FPS on the menu.
That's all I got was 60.
And the sad thing about it is that I would have met minimum specs if it weren't not for my graphics card.
What do you got for a graphics card there, Master? Oh! Wait for it to respond.
I got a GTX 650.
Okay, so wow, and no option to turn that off. Holy shit with hand grenades. All right, we start out with a bone club.
So what's your frame rate at?
17.
17 FPS. So I've been doing better than you.
Well, that's because you turned the graphics down to shit. I should be
That's
able to
true.
run this game at fantastic with no questions.
So the performance has gone down the gutter.
Yeah, performance has gone completely to shit. What the hell happened to the... Adjust the gamma. We're gonna... Okay, this is our ability to adjust the gamma, which then has apparently crashed the thing. Alright, that's out freaking standing. I can't get out of this. Derp, 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 derp,
Oh,
derp,
boy.
derp, derp, derp. There we go. I found out the thing. Okay. And if I set the global quality to, oh, let's go with high because that's what it likes. Okay. Aptly.
Wow. Wow. I am
What's your
getting.
performance?
It's ranging between 28 and 41.
Resume.
That's insane.
Wow. What?
Well, shit.
What is this
What
shit?
the fuck's happened to yours, Croc?
I don't know.
It's like I'm watching an old black and white film.
It's not even.
Oh, and
Yeah.
if we go past the yellow lines, there's toxicity. Oh, radiation. I'm hearing a Geiger counter crackle, even though there's no Geiger counter. That's
Okay, let's try this from over here. Adjust the gamma. Turn it down to what he suggests is good. The menu filter didn't go away. You weren't supposed to use it like that. Accept. Okay.
I'm getting sub 30 FPS.
Alright, I turned mine down to high just to see what would happen. 60 frames in the 60 frames per second here. Let me just grab our lovely Kitty here, and she can guard the frame rate counter at the upper right hand corner.
While running, I'm getting 17.
That's about what I was getting on Ultra. Wow, that didn't take nearly as long to load. And yeah, I'm running in the same sub 20 range that you are.
Well, at least it's better than a PowerPoint slideshow.
Not much.
Well, I'm
No.
already getting art PowerPoint slideshow.
See, PowerPoint slideshows usually have something interesting on the screen.
By the way, who's John that just came in?
Oh, goody! Look at that. He took the cheaties out. He took the cheat things out too.
Oh, that's fantastic. They put in water, but it's just past the invisible wall that you cannot get to it.
What? They put the water in and then...
Yeah, you actually can't get to the water.
Well, that's fucking obnoxious.
The game's borders, the map borders, are actually preventing you. So that's nothing but background set piece.
Can't run through the truck anymore. You got that part right. Alright. Options. Enable subtitles. In a game where there is no... where nothing has spoken. I turn the anti-aliasing off.
Wow, yeah, that motion blur.
Yeah, that motion blur. You know what the sad part of it is? He made it worse. He took a shit game and made it worse. How do you do this? Somebody explain this to me.
The funny thing is, I increased anti-aliasing and anisotropic filtering, and my frame rate increased.
Yeah, I went to 21 frames a second when I
I'm
killed.
up to 30.
Wow. That's
By the way, can you disable motion blur
16
anywhere
to
in the
17
options?
to 30. No.
You cannot. There
Of
is
course.
nothing. Yeah, you were correct on that one, Mello. There is no reason. There's nothing here to do that with.
This is still completely empty, though. It's not a game.
Nope, it's just a wonder about kind of an amusement park. I think is probably the best way to put this.
Oh, I can still flip through a bunch of rocks.
Clip through rocks,
Mostly.
clip through ye olde tree.
Oh, no. I got stopped by the invisible wall at the edge of the map. That's what was stopping me.
That trodden grass texture is going to be common. It was used a lot back in the 80s and 90s, in the very early days of 3D video game making. Well, actually, okay, so we're talking about the mid to late 90s, really, but still.
I wonder if this thing even has any draw distance set on it at all.
Doesn't seem to. Can I clip that? Oh, I can clip a rock! And a dead car. Well, I can't. Hey, that's funny. I can stand in this rock, but I can't clip through the car. Is that
Pay no
supposed to
attention
be
to
water?
me. Guys, pay no attention to me for the next few minutes.
Okay. Any thinkings from the Kete?
Not at the moment.
He did. He took a bad game. He took a bad game that was already bad and made it worse.
Well, no, he took an asset flip and made it worse.
Well, no. His original was bad, and the original.
I wouldn't even call it his.
Well, the pre-patch edition was just bad, and I didn't think I could find anything like this that would actually be worse. I am very displeased to report that I was horrifyingly wrong. Look, invisible wall going out to the edge of the map that you can actually see this time.
Croc, can I have a sidebar on the Steam chat, please?
Sure. Give me a second here. I'm just gonna leave this guy standing here for a moment.
Footstep that sounds like boots.
So while they're having a sidebar, does anyone have any questions in chat they'd like answered?
We will take questions. For some reason, I switched windows at some point, and now the game is refusing to respond to me at all. So,
Awesome.
I am.
Great.
I don't know what jingling and beeping we're talking about. I'm not hearing it. Imagine if Acid Pets had souls. That's actually freaking hilarious. Okay, so apparently going out to the edge to Birdie's invisible wall also means that you lose control of your character. Because I cannot move the sorry bastard only about half the keys are working.
Friggin' cuts for donkey balls.
What the hell?
Hmm?
Someone is playing around with a text to speech.
Who the hell is actually John in the hangout?
It's a good question.
Well then, John, what can we help you with?
And how the hell did you get in here?
D.
Uh-huh. Well then, my young friend, let's see who you are.
This developer is a moron.
We've noticed.
Oh, for God's sake.
That's not the point. We are not here to insult the developer. We are here to
criticize him properly.
To criticize him properly. Insulting the developer helps nothing. It only makes the situation much worse. Criticism is meant to help people, even if they don't want to be helped.
Or at least for the customers.
Yet, writing exceptional games. Exceptional as in throwing a lot of exceptions that slows the game down.
I'm not sure what you mean. It seems like, well, obviously slowing the game down is a thing. It's obviously where it's creating its own problems. I'm just kind of curious as to who our party crasher might be.
Yep. And how the hell did he get in here?
Yeah.
He should hire a good programmer. Also an actual artist.
You need to move past assets to do that.
Yeah, well.
Would help to make this game better.
Yeah, John, can you answer who you actually are?
And yeah, that was actually something that happened. Alright.
You accidentally displayed the link
I
to
already
your
read it.
hangout.
Thank you. I already read it. However, I may have an easy fix.
Thank you, I'm done. Goodbye.
Okay,
Farewell.
have fun, John.
Alright, that was
interesting.
That was a new one. Alright, let me just Where is
Oh, I was just loading up Wireshark too.
Wireshark? Uh-huh. And John is actually showing us what he sees. So, I'll be back in a moment.
I'll
Was a
take
very
that.
intriguing. That was a very intriguing 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, that was a very intriguing encounter.
Oh, well. Our friend John should probably drop out now.
But he's not. There he
There
is.
we go.
Alright. So, back down to business, shall we?
Good.
Yeah.
We can use a little business.
Alright.
Yep.
Alright. So, Mr. Berdyev, I know you don't like criticism, and I know you've had a lot to say to some of the people that have criticized you. Sid, if you would like to put some playtime to show some other things going on here, we can do that, or we can start with the detailed criticism of the Berdyev.
I'm not sure how much more I could add outside of what all of us have posted in our content already. He of course has engaged on everything under the sun that you might expect from an asset flipper to do. He has mass deleted comments, locked threads, banned users for no reason whatsoever. His banned reason for banning me actually was left completely blank.
Yeah, I get that too
not
sometimes.
Uncommon. And yeah, about the only thing that he has yet to engage in is a forced DMCA takedown, which would be exceptionally risky for him because he's actually within the United States.
Yes, he is. In fact, he actually lives just somewhat north of me.
Yeah.
He's on the other side of Seattle from where I am.
He at least hasn't tried to sue you.
Well, he could if he wanted to. It's not like he couldn't get to me, but you know what? He'd have to have cause.
I think that's the only thing that is preventing him from issuing a false DMCA takedown, because given we are all within the continental U.S., it would be very easy to go after him for perjury.
Well, you and I are, but Kete is way down south, beyond our borders, and Mello is too far east.
Mainly, I was meaning you and me, but because there's no, if he were to issue a false DMCA takedown on my video, there's no way in hell I wouldn't go after him at that point.
Pretty much, yeah. Let me know if you decide to do that. I'll see what I can do about getting some shit together. Because we have, at this point, we have a whole pile of material to go through as far as some of the shit he's actually been pulling.
Start linking them to you if you want.
What?
I can start linking some of them to you if you want.
Well, I got 2 videos up on Berdyev already. I'm about to make it a third. So
we've got, like I said, there's a whole pile of abusive material that has been posted by the Berdyev. Several arguments that he's had with Mello. There's his video that he put up in response to your video the last time, Sid.
Yeah, that wasn't really any form of attack. That was him trying to come across as proving a point where there's no point to be proven. Yes, with that particular login, he couldn't access those games for that particular login. I can go and set up multiple Steam accounts right now if I wanted to. It wouldn't serve any purpose, but I could do it.
That you have to buy a game for each one. It would be a big pain in the ass. Uh, and then of course he's been known to be sending fun bots to downvote videos. Maybe chat can tell me how many dislikes we've already got. Because he knew this was coming.
Yeah, oddly enough, I have not been downvote botted like he did do to Big Fry TV.
Well, see, actually, my first review of the developer for him was apparently a test run, because I only managed to wind up with about 116, 116 or 119 downvotes to the 16 upvotes I got on that thing.
Apparently, according to LaCroix, Berdyev isn't even American. He's apparently Turkish.
Okay. Apparently, somebody lied to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing
maybe he didn't come to the hangouts to this stream because he has an accent and it would give away his origins.
That
Well,
could be.
I don't really have much of an idea of why he's hiding his origins. Really, I don't really feel like there's much of a motive for him doing that anyway.
Well, here's the flip side of that. If his English isn't all that, if he's Turkish and residing here in the U.S., then he would be very, very easy to spot. It would be very easy to spot him in the place he actually resides. That said, the information that he's just the other side of Seattle from me is probably about the most consistent information we have. Whether or not he's a Turk is irrelevant. I don't think he actually lives in Turkey at this point.
Probably not.
One can actually be of Turkish origin and not live in Turkey. That's a thing. That says the place he's supposed to be running around in is not as big as he thinks it is, and it would be dead easy to find him because the type of thing that he's been supposedly doing on the side, when he's not developing games.
Yeah, according to
isn't exactly common. Especially
one thing I was noted was that according to the Steam mods, he has 10 other titles waiting in the wings.
10?
Oh, really? 10? That's, yeah.
Actually, tell you what, one thing that I'll do, since that's information just been brought, I'll do a run by on those accounts on Greenlight updates and see if they've gotten things posted.
Alright, Karma, I would be inclined to agree. But then again, we're here as much for the customers as we are anything else. I mean, really, customer advocacy should be the first priority for a games journalist.
Yeah, one of our main things that we aim to do with these RTDs is to inform consumers. We also aim to help developers in any way that we can. But our primary aim is to inform consumers of actions that are being handled by a developer.
And I'm pretty sure everybody here would agree with that. Sid?
Absolutely. If it's one thing that the recent issue with Gearbox and G2A that John Bain got involved with, it's one thing that can point out is that this can be a very symbiotic relationship between the consumers, reviewers, and developers. And when all three band together, everyone can win. It's these type of developers that are only out for themselves and their own bottom line and their own pockets to the exclusion of all else is why we have to deal with situations like these. If they were actually interested in developing games and producing a product for people to enjoy, then people would be much more willing to, one, cut them some slack, two, help them. Because everyone likes being able to play a good game, and if giving someone a little bit of advice or help along the way will help make their product better, then by all means, a great many people would be interested in doing that. But these type of people are very much against that sort of thing. They don't want visibility on their games because then they'll be revealed to be asset flips like these more often than not.
And to add on to that, I'm going to paraphrase Jim Sterling here. If Berdyev somehow makes a decent game, I will probably be the first in line to go around and admit that Berdyev made a decent game. But so far, he hasn't.
So far, I can't even say he's made a game.
True.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, that's been pointed out time and again that people are capable of changing. People are capable of making mistakes too. And if someone is interested in, the leopard changing its spots, that is something that we can support. And if someone is interested in putting out an actual viable piece of content, it'll be taken on that basis for the most part. There are exceptions where companies like Digital Homicide, who have proven that they have absolutely no interest in that. G2A would be another. They don't deserve the benefit of the doubt at that point, and it would be very hard for them to earn that back. Not impossible,
but very
exceptionally difficult.
Yeah, G2A proved that yesterday.
Oh dear. I've been busy prepping a review for Persona 5. We're going to have a small chat also about Atlus's attitude while I do it. So I actually missed the G2A news.
Yeah, for anyone who's not aware what's going on there, I did actually produce a video about that. Total Biscuits also put out some content as well. Gearbox, the developers of this game that I already forgot the name of because Bulletstorm. They're working with G2A to produce a collector's edition of the game, and they apparently were unaware of G2A's reputation. So naturally, the backlash was instant and universal.
I don't really believe that they don't know the background of G2A. I mean, they should usually go into research about who they're doing business with, otherwise it's not good doing any business.
It could be simply they just didn't believe it was as bad as all that.
It is as bad as all that.
I could kind of understand. It is, and being Total Biscuit got involved, and he's one of the biggest YouTubers out there who is a games critic, they reached out to him, and of course he's been producing news pieces involving G2A for years, so he had massive amounts of links and information on hand to be able to provide a Gearbox, and he took the time to walk them through it to make sure they understand everything that's going on there. And once they finally grasp the bigger picture of what G2A is about, they worked with John again to create a list of demands that G2A would have to meet. And you could definitely tell these were about 90% Total Biscuit. Those demands, the way they were phrased, everything about them, they were about 90% him. And so they issued that ultimatum to G2A, and G2A failed to respond in time. So Gearbox is going through the process of pulling out of that partnership. Although G2A is supposed to have a some form of press release coming out after the weekend.
Yeah, I bet. It'll be interesting to cover that. For sure.
But, G2A has been claiming for years that they want to be taken more seriously and that they don't want to be seen as this shady site. And this was a perfect example of them being able to do exactly that. And they showed their true colors and completely ignored the opportunity.
Yep, well, on G2A's credit, they were literally just given about 24 hours to respond to all the demands. But then again, they've been asking for these demands to be made.
That
for
wasn't,
like 4 years
it wasn't 24 hours to implement the changes. It was 24 hours to declare that they will implement those changes.
Oh, okay. Right.
That what it was.
So there's a very large difference there. It's basically them saying, yes, we will commit to this. Within 30 days, we'll make sure of this set date, this will happen. Or within 90 days of this set date, this will happen. It's a declaration of an intent.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something they didn't do.
Yeah, well, that's all they had. That's all they had to do, and they failed to do it. That's not what we call. That's not what we call valid here. You're trying to trash. If G2A wants its reputation to go someplace and get more contracts like this, like the one that they now tanked from by Gearbox, then they need to step up.
Yeah, and in the future, this will make it extremely more difficult for G2A to get any sort of partnership with any developer of note.
Yeah, well, Gearbox is probably the low end of AAA anyway, especially after that shit with Aliens Colonial Marines. Okay.
Yeah, Gearbox, of course, they aren't perfect. They did do Colonial Marines. They did do Duke Nukem 3D. Wait, was it Duke Nukem 3D or was it Duke Nukem Forever? I can't remember.
Duke Nukem Forever.
It was
Duke Nukem Forever. Thank you. I actually made that mistake on my first video and pulled it down because I ended up accrediting Gearbox with a bunch of games they didn't actually make. So,
well, as you said, according to Gearbox, they didn't make Aliens Colonial Marines either. And Randy Pitchford.
Yeah, nobody will accept responsibility for that game.
Actually,
No.
to your credit, they actually did develop the 20th anniversary of Duke Nukem 3D.
That must be, see, that's what happens. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, you don't YouTube at 1 o'clock in the damn morning. Especially when you're commonly waking up at 5.
Yeah.
It's just, you end up making stupid mistakes, and yeah, I had to issue an apology and take that video down, but yeah.
I already did 2 videos on G2A, and I was like, I was going to have to do a third one. Oh boy.
Well, I'll probably produce an updated video on that, but I'm going to be waiting for G2A's public announcement.
Public comment.
Yeah, I'm gonna
because it's kind of it's incomplete right now, and I don't want to be issuing a lot of speculation. But you know, the fact of the matter is, they were given an opportunity and they squandered it.
Yeah, well, that was. Unfortunately, that's kind of on them at this point. There's. No, I don't intend to do anything about that. G2A made its bed and now must it made its bed a third time and now must lie in it. But G2A seems to think that as a publisher, they're all that as a publisher / developer, they're all that in the bag of chips. And we know that's not right.
I'm back.
Yep. Welcome back there, Cadet. So. Oh, yeah, the G2A Reddit AMA, I heard about that.
Oh man, that was great. I was
Yeah,
glad I was
I
there.
actually read through that Reddit AMA, and I touched on its existence in my last video, but yeah, it went about as well as could be expected. It went about as well as Dallas's Reddit AMA for fun.
Oh, that is not good.
Yeah.
Oh. Min price. Oh boy. Hey. Sup?
Except they are native English speaking, so they couldn't feign a lack of understanding.
Yeah. Well, see, that's their issue. It's not actually mine. All that really means is that I have the freedom to hammer them in English and know that they'll get it. Same thing as Mr. Berdyev over here, who has produced a game that was not only shit, but somehow managed to make the game get worse.
Mm-hmm.
After it was already shit. How do you do that? I want
You
to
be
know.
Berdyev.
Well, it's very commonly seen in quote-unquote developers who don't give a damn about the product they're putting out.
Yeah,
because
well,
this isn't a game. This isn't their baby that they're developing. This is a paycheck.
yes. And
That's all it is.
unfortunately, you know, on one hand, getting the paycheck, getting some of the paycheck out of there would probably do us that would probably do everyone some good, but then we lose the innovation that comes from the paycheck. So
Um, I had to leave for a moment. The problem with the bad developers is that usually, uh, I guess more than 99%, they include trading cards, and people buy this game because of this.
let's see. Here's the
Well, to Dead Insight's credit, it doesn't have trading cards.
well, it doesn't
They
have
don't.
trading
They
cards
don't.
yet.
They
I
don't
expect
Yeah.
that will
care.
be.
They don't care if the game is bad. They don't care that developer bans people from discussions, that the developer blackmails people, that the developer does lots of things that are extremely unethical. They just don't care. If they can get something out of it, they will buy.
Well, to be
So
fair, on
the some gamers are also responsible for this.
Hmm. And it's actually going to take all of like Sid said earlier. It's going to take us all to band together and to get this shit out of to get all of this crap out of the system. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
if you are not helping if you are not helping in helping us deal with it, then I don't know. I'm not sure what to say, what really to say here, because this crap makes me
I
want to climb the
think that
walls. Is what it does. I don't
the
want to say you're
the
part of a
problem.
problem because you're really not. You are the consumer, and ultimately the choices you make are your own. But we need to get
Uh,
together. The developers that are willing to make good games, the consumers that want to play good games, and we as the critics in the middle of that.
yeah, I see the not only the bad developers that are asset flippers only as the part of the problem. I see the trading cards as part of the problem.
Well,
I don't really think trading cards are part of the problem because there's this whole complicated process behind how to actually make a game dedicated to trading cards. And frankly, I don't really think Berdyev's really ran into any of those yet because you need a dirt cheap game to start off with, or you need a game that's on regular sales on Steam in order for users to start generating actual revenue from the game. Like, say a game is priced at $1 as a base price, and then it's on sale for 90% off to like maybe I'm not doing math in my head at this point, but maybe it's on for sale at about 6 cents. And that means that if people get the game and then get trading cards, they can still profit off of it where they technically haven't even bought the game and have also made 3 cents profit. There's this whole complex process of actually getting a game to be used specifically to get trading cards. Where if you have a game like Space Journey here priced at $6.99, then you can't exactly profit off of the trading cards itself.
well, the if the end
Basically,
user
from
can't,
price.
that would be from the end user standpoint.
Yeah,
Yeah, we had made back then. I don't remember the number. How much the digital homicide made from trading cards? It was a super huge amount of money.
About I, I if I remember correctly, I think it was about 250,000.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
it was not an insubstantial amount of money. And the thing a lot of people remember is, or don't remember, is that when I did my video about Berdyev's games, I posted the Steam Spy numbers of accounts with activated keys. Now, that's not actually people who have bought the game. even though I
Yeah.
may have implied it was that. That was possibly misrepresenting things on my part, and for that I do apologize. But what it implies there is that there is a potential internal scam that Berdyev has been working on, where because he is the developer, he's able to provide keys on the cheap, basically for free, to a fair amount of user bots that can be used to generate or farm Steam trading cards on these games, and then be able to buy and sell them on the Steam storefront to basically generate income off of
Not
the
just
back
the
of nothing.
cards, not just the cards, not just the income generated from the cards, because you would get that directly, but also the income that would normally come from cards.
And that's also not just counting the amount that he's made from just base sales of the game, people that haven't got the key generated.
So he has accounts that are earning income from the cards being sold, while also be getting his percentage as the developer for those trading cards that are being sold.
Right. And
it's essentially embezzlement.
Well, to be honest with you, that might explain all the bot reviews for Space Journey.
Absolutely.
It would explain a lot of things.
Now, again, that's all pure speculation, but given the sheer vast number of accounts that have copies of these games versus the number of reviews and the number of negative reviews associated with those games, it makes it highly unlikely that the vast majority of those accounts are actual people.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I mean, we singled out, we've potentially highlighted 100 accounts just because of that.
Yeah, Cuddles is pointing that collecting them gives you emotes, profile backgrounds, and stuff.
It's also directly tied to your Steam level.
Yeah.
Because the fastest way to improve your Steam level is to craft badges.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as such, the trading card system can't really be removed without doing a lot of damage. Same time, you have people that will more than happily abuse the shit out of it. And for no reason other than they can.
The problem is the abuse of the system through bots and give away keys and this kind of thing. And
plus if you give away a bunch of keys, then you have a bunch of real life people that are farming these games for those trading cards as well, which helps drive the market for the botted cards that you yourself are farming. Which is why I actually said he's actually come up with a fairly ingenious system compared to Digital Homicides, and he seems to be a fair amount less crazy.
I'd probably put that up for debate.
Well, I would too. Let me rephrase that. He's a different type of crazy.
Yeah.
There we go.
Not the good kind, unfortunately. Because the only behavior, as was said earlier, that he hasn't engaged in is a DMCA takedown. And I thoroughly expect somebody to get it the neck in the next while and a half.
Again, that would be exceptionally dangerous for him to attempt if he indeed in the U.S. as the IP address that he's using would warrant. It's possible he could be using a VPN, but
I find that unlikely, but it's entirely possible.
Yeah. But, yeah, because the reason being, if in the United States, a false DMCA takedown is perjury, and means we do have YouTubers like myself and Lord Crocosquirrel who live in the U.S., if he issued a false DMCA takedown, we could go after him for perjury, and according to federal law, that perjury would be enforced in the state that either myself or Crocosquirrel lives in.
I could get him in Texas too.
Which the state that I live in is perjury is punishable with a minimum of 1 year in jail.
I think I think it's something similar here. It's a minimum of 1 year and a max of, I think it's 5. I think it's 1 to 5
It's
here.
15 where I am.
Whew.
Just a quick question: how long can Berdyev get for an illegal usage of an ESRB or PEGI rating?
Peggy is UK, so I'm not sure.
Well, Peggy is Europe altogether.
Yeah, it's because it's conflicting if it's a US citizen using a PEGI rating.
As far as false ratings, that I believe is actually a civil cause.
Yeah,
Like,
well, so would
there's
be
no
the
federal-
perjury would be as well. That doesn't fall under the Digital
Actually,
Millennium Copyright Act or anything like that.
Well, the under penalty of perjury, perjury is actually a federal crime, and as such would be prosecuted in the federal criminal courts, and those things are not polite. Perjury at that point, we're talking, I don't know. The federal government can impose sentences up to life if they feel the urge. Because I don't think there is a maximum standard for perjury. Don't quote me on that. I'm not a lawyer.
Because the reviewer's role is to review a game.
Right.
And if the reviewer's opinion is that the game is not good, and if the reviewers find out that the developer and the company of the developer, if it's not only one person, whatever, is engaging in embezzlement and in other shady business, if this person raises a false DMCA claim, this person is done.
Oh, it depends on just how deep people dig.
Yeah.
And if the idea of perjury charges comes up, then there will be some serious digging into his finances and all the other shit. The problem, of course, is that we would wind up kind of, after all the money that he's managed to pick up in sales of his games and additional income for cards and shit like that, we're still looking at we still wind up looking at him having far more resources than we do in terms of being able to respond to be able to respond to lawsuits.
Yeah, but there is a false DMCA claim. Is not only perjury, but it causes moral damage to the person who is the victim of this claim.
Oh, it's not moral damage. It would,
It isn't really
would
moral
be
damage. It'd be financial damage because they're losing out on monetization that the video might be possible.
I'm actually going to reach out with an email to the ESRB about false ratings. One thing I have been able to find is that if you do have an ESRB rating and it is not easily visibly disclosed, your content can be fined with up to $1 million.
I'd be willing to bet the reverse would be true as well. The fines might either be more or less, but it would probably be something similar.
I'm sure then that it would be substantial, but I'll have to reach out to them for confirmation.
Yeah, that would probably be the best part.
Example.
Be the best idea. Let me know what you come up with on that.
Okay, I was looking up penalties of perjury in Texas and Washington State. In Texas, it can be either a Class 3 felony, a Class A misdemeanor, which is punishable by a year in jail and $400 fine, or a third-degree felony if it's connected to an official proceeding. Under third-degree felony, it will be a fine of up to $10,000 and 2 to 10 years in prison. In Washington,
2 to 10 years. Wow.
10.
Yeah. Yeah, in Washington, there's 2 degrees of perjury. Perjury in the first degree is a Class B felony. I don't know what
It's not
what the penalty
considered
for that.
nice.
Yeah,
Trust me, it's not nice.
No, and
and
just so everyone is aware, perjury is one of those violations that the courts definitely do not look kindly upon. Typically, with that sort of thing, you don't see a whole lot of leeway being given to those who commit perjury.
Okay.
and
Hey, chat. I realize
Okay, go
we're
ahead.
being mildly boring over here, but let's not talk about the Brexit. No politics, please. Enough.
It's bad enough I have to go through it. I don't want to hear other people go complaining about it.
I'm sick of hearing
I'm not-
about it, and I
I'm-
live clear the other side of the Atlantic and the continent from
Yeah,
Great Britain. Okay,
I don't live anywhere near there. I have no opinion.
I'm just tired of hearing about it at this point. Okay, moving on. What were you saying, Sanji?
Okay, I'll talk to you about it later, Croc.
Okay, perjury in the second degree in Washington is a Class C felony.
Thought you just said it was a Class B.
That's perjury in the first degree.
Ah,
Croc. Second degree is a Class C.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And either of those will net you and a Class C will net you at least 3 years, and usually not more than 10 or 12. Although the sentencing range does go up to 25. Class B felony is substantially more nasty. You're looking at least 10 to 12 years, and you're probably going to be looking at closer to 25 to 30.
Well, let's see here. I can do that later. Because we can.
We are
Because we
completely
can discuss.
we're completely off our topic now,
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
and we can tell we're getting kind of towards the end of our usual 2-hour time because that's what happens. So, Berdyev, little message for you. Stop doing this. Okay, if you're gonna make games, make games. If you're gonna scam people out of money, go with a classic. Okay, you know, a Ponzi scheme that would work really well for you, I think. Or 3-card Monty or something like that. Don't just no. Okay? You can be a scam artist or you can be a game developer. Game development is hard. And if you can throw out 10 games in less than a year, you're doing something wrong. You are doing something horrifyingly wrong, and you should be ashamed of yourself. Okay? If you want to make this work, then make us a good game. Make us a game that doesn't involve you going and buying an asset pack and then compiling it and tossing it unedited or effectively unedited onto Steam. For people like me and Sid and Sanji to have to try and get through, torture ourselves with just so we can tell everybody else that your game is shit. Go ahead, Kitty.
Just reminding that Berdyev was invited to this review and he declined.
What was
I wouldn't
his
say
final
full on.
season?
I wouldn't say full on declined. He started off with declining. Then I mentioned Sid was going to be here, and he was slightly more open to the idea because he heard that Sid didn't want to speak with him. And then he went on to insult Croc for a bit, and then he said that he was going to bed.
So wait, he was interested on coming on the show simply because I did not want to speak with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then apparently
Good to know.
confused
All right.
me for you, and just
Well, that's
no.
perfectly fine. You know, you do have to understand, even though this person is, to my mind, scum and exceptionally duplicitous, it's no surprise that he wouldn't come on the show because, you know, it's hard. It would be an exceptionally brave thing to do, to go into an environment where you know you're very much going to come under attack.
What was the name? What was the name of that developer that came to talk to us?
Which
The
one?
he's talking about LaCroix. LaCroix.
No. The one with the
Fat Fly.
Fat Fly?
Fat Fly came to talk to us, and it was an amazingly polite conversation. We have an example. It's registered there. There's a video of the interview with Fat Fly.
And he admitted he was asset flipping.
Yes, he admitted. And so Berdyev could have come here to talk to us, and nobody would have insulted him or yelled at him.
Well, nobody on the panel would have. The chat could have flipped out. I would not have stopped them.
Yeah, but that would be easy enough for him to just minimize.
Yeah, well, he doesn't have to lie.
But I just wanted to make it clear that there was an invitation for him, and one way or another he declined.
Hell, I think the invitation's still open to him anytime he wants.
Yeah.
If he
the invitation's open for tomorrow.
He's welcome to come on. If he thinks he can defend his actions at this point, he's certainly welcome to come on. I don't think his actions are. I don't personally think his actions are defensible, but he could change my mind.
I mean,
I'm open to the idea.
Look at the defenses you gave me in PMs. If you think they're good enough to produce publicly, then go ahead and come on here.
Yeah. I guess not.
Yeah, well, his loss, to be perfectly honest.
Just take a look at the dislikes tomorrow or something.
Probably. I would have liked to have gotten Big Fry on board too, but or is that the reviewer he went after first?
Big Fry TV.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you, I haven't watched any of his content. I didn't even know who he was till this whole thing started, till this thing with Berdyev started exploding.
Oh, I've known him for a while. I should say, about a month. He and I have actually discussed possibly doing a collaboration at some point in time, but yeah, this was even a spur of the moment thing for me to be even here today. And Big Fry just got back from traveling, so I don't even if he were inclined, I don't think he would have been up to it.
Well, that's kind of what we were hearing.
Because he's jet lagged.
Yeah. Well, we may or may not revisit this situation in the next while and a half in order to kind of get Big Fry's story on this, because I would really like that one. Of course, sources being what they are, we have to. That's a thing that we should probably do. But for right now, I think we've pretty much covered everything we wanted to. Any final comments from the panel before we take off, or questions from the chat?
I can always read out the Facebook post that Berdyev sent out to Big Fry. No, not Big Fry. Road 85.
Go for it.
Okay. Do you want me to put on a Berdyev voice or not?
Nah.
Sorry.
Not worth the effort.
I'll just go. I'll just go my dual monotone voice, which
I don't
is
want. I don't want to. I don't
my
want
voice.
to. I don't want to break my Roku TV over here. So let's go ahead and
Okay.
do that.
Road's real name. I am actually pretty disappointed on how you handled your review and your communication between us. I get it. It all started with Big Fry, you, and Guardians of Greenlight. I get that I hurried too much when I first set up the store, but then I did admit that we use that asset. But the ideal goal is to use it as a placeholder and starter for our game. As I mentioned before, we will modify it. Already did a few things even. Adjust and build up a game from that asset. We are not straight up flipping it, because if we were, we would have just done it without any changes and used bare bones asset, which we did not. Dead Inside's map has been built up from scratch. I have an amazing level designer who did most of the level design, including myself. We have plans in order to make the game better. That's another reason why I delayed the release date 2 times, because I wanted to release something that does not look like a straight asset flip. UI will completely be changed. It is a little bit as of right now, but will drastically change, I tell you that. Aside from that, weapons mechanics, crafting, building, etc. will be changed as well. As far as multiplayer goes, I will try to have it out by my own and will not wait for an asset developer to do that for us. It's just as of right now, I have to focus on more important stuff, patches, fixes, before I could touch networking and multiplayer parts. I am waiting for people's feedback, and I will have a patch out this weekend for current known issues. I just really hope you will reconsider your review and stop your negativity. I have a feeling that you are more up for it due to Fry's review, especially since he mentioned you, and I would think you are getting a few views and subs from him as well.
Well, see,
But from what we
here's.
began, and from
Oh, he's not done yet.
there's still more. I was just taking a breathe in because I was running out of air. But from what we began and from what I've heard from your video, you seem like an honest and a good guy, and I feel like maybe in the future you would change your viewpoint on our title. Thanks for your time. Cheers.
Okay, so here's the deal. First off, the reviewer that is being addressed by the birdie is not required to do that. We take the games as we see them as they turn up. If we see a game before it's been patched the first 12 times and it's shit, then that's what we have to go with. We can't be going back to every game we've ever looked at and going, oh wow, did they do a patch? Did they do a patch? Did they do a patch? You could make a career out of 3 or 4 games if you do that, and you probably still wouldn't be doing very well.
Also, it is worth noting that he said something very similar about one of the other asset flips that he had done, where he had stated to the Unity developer that all of those assets were going to be used as placeholders, and he was going to be making significant changes. However, it appears to be the only 2 patches that were ever released on the game that he is selling were the 2 patches that the Unity developer had published. Since then, the game is quote unquote full release, and it is still indistinguishable from the Unity asset.
Yeah, and I don't expect this to be any different. If we're being perfectly honest, adding collisions of cars, yippee. Doing the thing with the motion blur, bad idea.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Actually, if you give me a minute, I can
yes,
probably that conversation.
Matt Geek is asking about a reporting tool in his post. That is where you can go to the Steam store page and report the game, even though they don't have a tool that matches. Let me go to the store page here so I can actually look at it while I'm talking. Down in the lower right hand corner of the store page, underneath the developer information, there is a report this product flag, where it does give you options for offensive, defamatory, harmful, broken, pornography, legal violation, hate speech, fraud, child exploitation, or adult content. I have reported this game under I believe it was, I put it under broken, but it would also fit the fraud category as well.
Well, fraud's a little harder to prove.
Because it is a deliberate it is a deliberate misrepresentation. So harmful or broken would be the most apt categories, and means there's no category that matches. The Steam moderators have told me just put it in the one that'll fit the most, and that'll be fine. And they also stated that it would take several hundred reports for Valve to actually take notice. But I think between Guardians of Greenlight, Lord Croco Squirrel's channel, my channel, Big Fry TV's channel, and a few others, we could probably make that happen.
We could probably work up that many at least.
I think between all of us together, we have a combined total of just shy of 75,000 people.
Well, I know you and I share a few in common, probably, and that's probably true of some folks from Big Fry too.
So, but out of all of those thousands of people, a few hundred, it's really not that many.
No, especially not when you're talking about anywhere between 2 and 5 million people that could actually be exposed to a particular game.
And with that, this is also something that was brought up during the meeting that Total Biscuit and Jim Sterling had with Valve, is that they actually have a term for these type of games. They call them
fake games.
Along the same line of fake news, they call these fake games. And Valve is extremely hesitant to take action against these games. However, if enough people start crying out about the abuses and the comment and thread deletions and the fact that this is an asset flip that is attempting to simply take advantage of people, if enough customers stand up and say, hey, this is a problem, Valve will take action against it. They have done so in the past with other developers who have been extremely verbally violent and vitriolic towards their customers. Valve has taken action against them in the past, and they will, as long as you let them know about it.
Yep. Do actually file those reports. You know, don't don't just let it sit there because you think that nobody's going to pay attention to it. You know, one voice doesn't help very much, but 100 voices, 1,000 voices, it will make a difference. Okay.
Yeah, and you want a perfect example of that? Look at what happened with Dentola Studios.
Oh yeah.
On my channel when they issued the MCA. Those Greenlight items have not passed through Greenlight. Some of those items have actually been DMCA'd by the Unity developers because they used the original YouTube video that they had posted as an advertisement for the Unity asset.
Wow, that's impressive.
And Dentola Studios has apparently been banned, so those items are essentially defunct at this point, and all of that because he decided to go after one YouTube reviewer, and all of those customers, all of those people out there in the world decided to band together and do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened. You won't get his games onto Steam. It just is not going to happen. And that is because of all of you. It's not because of me. It's not because of Jim Sterling. It's not because of Lord Croco Scroll. It's because of all of you.
You know, and we also...
Sorry, I tend to soapbox a fair amount.
Yeah, so. That's okay. That's quite all right. We also depend on all of you, not only for backup of that sort, but of any other variety as well. I know Sid and I both have Patreon accounts. You know, even turning your AdSense off would be, or your ad blocker off would be a great help. But right now, with the way YouTube's doing things, a lot of my, if you look at a lot of my stuff, it just vanishes in restricted mode. I think I've got probably about 30 videos that are actually available in restricted mode. PewDiePie went poof completely. His entire channel went south.
He'll survive, though. It's kind of hard to kill a channel with over 50 million subscribers.
This is true.
Yeah, he's clearly going to survive.
But you know, things like that, you can kill my channel in a hurry, like that. or even a channel the size of yours, Sid, could have real problems gaining new
Yeah,
viewers.
absolutely.
And like we all say, like, comment, subscribe if you can put a couple bucks in the kitty. We really appreciate that. Every tiny bit helps. And
Yeah, especially with the current ad pullout for YouTube. My God, I've been keeping an eye on things, and yes, 30% of what it was is very very accurate, and even $1 on Patreon used to equate to about 500 views on a video. Now $1 on Patreon is essentially the equivalent of nearly 2,000 views.
actually, for me, it's worse because the vast majority of my subscribers use ad block, and I don't get views in large numbers. So it's taking me 3-4 days to make a couple of cents at this point. $1 on YouTube or $1 at Patreon would be the equivalent of more than a week's earnings. It's really that bad. I don't see a freaking dime. I haven't seen a freaking dime. I've been doing this for years now, and I still haven't made that $100 threshold. But I was I was very quickly working my way up in that direction until this YouTube apocalypse happened. I can turn my ad blocker off. I can use an entirely different browser, and out of 12 or 13 videos that I looked at, I saw one advertisement. One.
Yeah, that's the thing. There just isn't any inventory there. So even with ads enabled on videos, the vast quantity of times there won't even be an ad showing up, because just because someone has an ad on YouTube doesn't mean it'll be posted everywhere. They pay for those views, so they have a certain limit of per day.
Yep. And unfortunately, the way this all works out, it's gonna kill me sooner or later. I'm so far in the hole with this thing; it's not even funny. You're paying for what, about 2/3 of your game, Sid?
Still more than, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my for example, my video on BC Interactive. Let's see, that game has an estimated between. Now, normally before, YouTube Red revenue would be about 10% of income. Right now, ad revenue is $7.74, and YouTube Red revenue is $5.83 for a video that 2 months ago would have made probably over $30 for the number of views that it's gotten.
Yeah, my even YouTube Red's gone to shit as far as pulling down money. And then YouTube's been blacklisting channels on top of that. Yeah, YouTube
that's
reacted
I'm
very
running about
badly
a
to
dollar.
a very small amount of money that was withdrawn.
Yeah, it's we're running at about a dollar to $1.20 per thousand, whereas before it was $3 to $3.50 per thousand.
I was running. Well, shit. Right now. I think I'm getting. I think I'm actually only getting about 65 cents per thousand at this point. Uh, and even that's sketchy.
Well, that's including the YouTube Red revenue. Ad revenue is less than $1 per thousand.
Yeah, it's
at least for my channel.
For my channel, it's about 65 cents, and like I said, on a good day, I'm 3 or 4 cents. I might make a nickel. That's a really good day.
Yeah, it would help if people donated to Patreon.
Yeah, well, support
It
your
was.
if you can support your favorite YouTubers, not just me, Sid, and anybody else that happens to have one. Jim Sterling, for example, he would be dead in the water without his Patreon. because AdSense can no longer be accounted on for any reason.
No.
Well, it hasn't been for years, but this just underscores how dangerous it is. And there are a lot of channels that are around the 100 to 200,000 subscriber range that had just started out making YouTube their
Careers.
daytime job, their full-time career, and now they just got cut off at the knees, and they
A
can't.
lot of them are having to
They
go
won't
back
be able
to
to
work, or
produce the
they're shutting
content.
down their channels.
They won't be able to produce the content. I work a full-time job, plus I'm a father, plus I still put out videos every day when possible, and I'm an anomaly at that rate. Trying to hold down that much for a gaming channel is virtually impossible. You have to give up the vast majority of your sleep to be able to do it.
Yeah, well, I haven't been getting all this sleep lately. We're making I'm making at this point anywhere between 2 and 5 videos for any given day.
Yeah.
Kitty can tell you how much time we wind up investing in this shit.
Yeah, sometimes it's 4 or 5 hours. It's an anomaly when we invest only 2 hours on making videos. Sometimes it's 4 or 5 hours.
4, 5, 6, 8 hours. 8 hours is actually not unheard of.
Yeah.
And
I
sometimes
have. You may have heard earlier the reaction of the short person to seeing Dead Inside. I have kids too, and I have to be up.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, it's an interesting situation, but yeah, if you do have $1 to spare, please do spare it on a YouTuber. They could use all the assistance. I mean, I'm where I'm at right now. I am actually perfectly fine. My channel is still self-sustaining, barely. So it's actually the expenditures I have for video games, the residual views I get on everything else helps to pay for those. So I'm not out ridiculous sums of money every week, but I'm definitely not earning any profit. That's for sure.
Well, I've been up. Yeah, we're just about done, Dracologist. I know I'm operating at a severe loss, and Sanji has no. And Sanji doesn't even have very many subscribers to begin with.
Yes.
So, and then you have others like Marley and Nama who do this kind of thing too, and poke around, see what you can find. I think that's enough squirreling around on various topics for one day. I will probably be approaching the YouTube thing here soon. I've actually been trying to dig up some more information on that. But we'll see how that all falls out. All right, guys, I want to thank you all for being here, both the chat and the panel. Sid, I realize this was kind of a sudden thing for you, but I do appreciate you turning up and taking time out of the schedule.
Well, I realized it had been a while since I come and hung out with you guys, and I kind of missed y'all. So.
Oh, thanks.
You are absolutely 120% welcome back anytime. And you know when we do these things, so it's not like it's hard.
I miss the porn voice.
You missed the porn voice, huh? You can catch
hello there.
You can catch your porn voice on a daily basis over on Sid's channel, right, Gede? Oh wait, that's right. We don't actually get a lot of time to watch videos these days because we're spending so much time making them.
Yeah, it's horrible. We are always working, and when not, I'm either involved in my daily chores, or I'm bad.
All right. Mello, as always, it's been a pleasure. And
thank you. It's also been a pleasure having me on.
Yep. Sanji, we got to get to work on your channel, man. I'm gonna try and get you kind of caught up. Okay.
That's a great trilogy. Sid, thank you for having me. Thank you for coming on. Mello, thank you for coming on. Sanji, we need to work on you.
Why not?
We
Okay.
need to talk.
But we're probably going to sometime soon. Anyway, so in if anybody wants the TLDW version of this, Birdie's the shit. He makes shit games, and he makes shit games even more shit. All right. So between now and the next time we see you guys, be safe, be sane.
Okay, and let's make games fun again. See ya, guys.
Have fun.